Hey, guess what? No more watermark today on the screen. Hello and welcome everyone to the workout. Today we're kind of going back to our roots a little bit. We're doing commercial work again. But as you might have heard me say before, there's no such thing as a non-character script. So we're going to be digging into this. We're going to be finding out what the character is. And we're going to go ahead and start with cold reads with James. James, whenever you're ready, go ahead and start us off.
All right. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into million-star dining. We've even we've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential. Justin.
Okay. Day and night we make things happen. We help celebrate forgotten anniversaries. Found tired travelers a bed. All over the world we've gone above and beyond, 24/7. We've personally delivered replacement cards. Found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses. Turned 3-star into million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential. Let's go with Van.
Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language, we tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential. Avalon? Avalon?
Avalon is correct. Hi.
Gotcha.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, hello. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped create forgotten anniversaries. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, even. Found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond, 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards. Found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses. Turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible. Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential. I don't know who's gone yet.
So it has been basically the only people who have not gone are myself and Amanda. Should you like to join us to read, Amanda?
Yes, I do. Let me just get the script.
All
Yeah,
right.
okay. Then I nominate Amanda after she has the
Okay.
Okie
script.
dokie.
So Amanda, once you
Um,
get the script, go ahead and read.
all right. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries. We found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond, 24/7. We're personally delivered replacement cards. Found doctors who speak your language. We tracked down lost wedding dresses. We turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like does this sound like bleh, hold on. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Okay, and finally, me. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned a 3-star into a million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential. Okay. And that is so far the reading order. If anybody else comes in, we're just going to put them right in the spotlight and have them immediately do a cold read. So, for anybody who's just going to randomly join us out of Twitch, be forewarned. All right.
In my case, a frigid read.
Hey, that's perfectly fine. That
Heard
is
that
perfectly fine.
one.
The uh, the of course the major point of the cold reads is just to sort of shake the nerves off and get the script through your process. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So, what kind of microphone technique should we use for this particular script? Voiceover or voice under?
Voice under.
Okay.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo that. It seems like there are a lot of visual elements that are being called attention to, and the visual elements are clearly the thing you're supposed to be paying attention to, I think.
Is there anything in particular that's making you see visual elements that see that this is paired up with video? I'm a little quiet.
The list of activities I think is pretty clear. Like I can envision the exact sort of little vignettes that we're seeing with each of those trailed off lines.
Okay. Sorry about the background noise. I had to turn my gain up apparently. Yes, yes, you spent money on your car. Cool. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Sounds like my neighborhood.
Yeah. Anybody else? Any other thoughts?
In terms of voice over or voice under, I don't really know the difference between the two. Could you explain
Okay.
what it is?
Yes. So this is general microphone technique that we're talking about, and that usually depends on the kind of script that we're dealing with. If the script is paired up with visuals, so if there's an on-screen component, generally you would consider or you would do voice under technique, which means you're going to be a little bit closer to the microphone, you're going to be a little bit quieter because you are going to be the um, like the consciousness of the person, sort of uh, speaking over their shoulder and directing their attention at what they see in front of them. Voice over is where you are central to the scene itself. So you are a character in the scene. You are currently present in whatever's going on. And your voice is the main important thing there. That would be things like audio only ads. So something for like a streaming service or radio or animation, things like that. So that's the difference between the two kinds of technique.
I see. Thank you for your explanation.
No problem. Yeah, no, we use a lot of our own terminology here, so I apologize. To any of you here or on Twitch, feel free to ask any questions you want to. But I am going to also say that this is a voice under script. Reason being is the general structure of the script itself. So when I was still going through some training, my coach taught me that if you take a look at the script and you just take a look at its general structure, it gives you a really, really good idea of how it's going to be used. So this script kind of has a poem like look to it. You know, it's got lines. Sometimes they don't break properly or they kind of trail off and, you know, it leads from one to the next to the next. And each one of them is a scene. So you can see something happening there, which was pointed out. That is a really, really good indication that this particular script is going to be paired with visuals. So this is the safer technique to use is going to be voice under. Now, let's discuss the fun part. Who are you in this script? What is your character?
You are the person trying to sell the card. You're talking to someone who's maybe on the fence about it, and you're trying to convince them of all the things that you personally maybe, but also the company at large have done with slash for the people that have these cards.
Okay.
I would say this is just generic company spokesperson. Just the use of the word we in like every sentence. Like this is Our company, our organization, we,
Shout out
Okay.
to the royal we.
right? The capital W, we.
Yes, exactly.
Essentially, it's an agent that may or may not have a car, but it's doing like a really hard sell.
Are you sure?
With all
I'm
the
getting a
words
lot of
persuasion?
I'm getting a lot of, well, this is just sales. This is hard sales. Are you sure about that?
Let's see.
And it's not just you. I'm talking to everybody. Are you sure that this is
Well,
hard sales?
I guess showman might be a
Yeah,
better comparison. It's a little more casual than you might expect a salesperson, with some of the verbiage, and the very beginning feels like someone who's ready to say "ta-da" at the end.
Yeah.
there's not really like a sense of urgency, like, oh, if you don't get a card, you'll die, kind of thing
Yeah.
going on.
So when you think of hard sales, think of like local car dealerships. Get a Ford F-150 for only 1599.99 down. Something like that. That's hard sales where you're really trying to convince somebody that this is an opportunity they need to jump on right now.
But unlike those hard salesmen, we're trying to be more genuine. We're being more relatable. We're giving people a reason to uh get the like using pathos to advertise an American Express card, because we know how they feel. We're trying to be casual. We're not trying to like jip them out of a good time. We're trying to make their lives better.
Right. Right. So the thing is choosing a character who is a representative of the company is not a bad thought. Is not a bad thing. That's not a bad option. It's perfectly fine. You can be a representative of the company, but you work for the company because you have a certain set of experiences, because you have a certain slant and a certain angle.
I
So,
I have a pretty different idea of a character.
okay,
I f- I see this as a experienced worldwide traveler who has taken every advantage of American Express cards. I mean, I mentioned in the chat I have a friend that occasionally visits me, and he's able to game all the credit cards so that his hotel is paid for, his flights paid for. He gets access to the airport lounge where he can get drinks and food and shower for free, and yeah, there's pretty amazing benefits. So I see this as someone that's already experienced a successful life and as a using his credit card and is talking to someone that might be using a less fancy credit card and just letting him know this is the life you could be living if you switch to American Express.
yeah, absolutely. Again, what I
I think
love about
I
that.
see how you're. I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
No, no, go for it. Go for it.
I think I see what you're saying. The we isn't so much like we the company. It's like me and the company do these things.
Like a friend who it's like it's a friend who just got hired by American Express who genuinely loves American Express and has plenty of experience using the card and
Yes.
found like, their life has become a lot better. So it's just like it's someone from the company that has a lot of experience that truly, truly knows what American Express is all about and what it can do.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You see, your characters need to have personal experience with things, specifically with the things that they're talking about in a commercial setting. So, I would argue that one of the best characters that you can have here is somebody like that. Somebody who knows all the loopholes, maybe not even loopholes, but who knows all the bonuses and benefits and is able to make them happen and able to travel really luxuriously and go see the world and do crazy, crazy things because they know how to use this system and they decided to work for them because they've had such a fantastic personal experience with them. Like if you look at it in that sense, now when you read the script, you'll see that each one of the little things that you list, it isn't like it isn't a reason to purchase or a reason to try to push you to purchase the card or to buy into this card or whatever it is. Now it's more like these are actually personal experiences that people have, and it's really cool because they're able to expand what they could have done before in the past. People would have never been able to experience this kind of dining before in the past without Amex. Things like that. That's what it's talking about now. So instead of this being a hard sales script, now it's an emotionally connected script.
It's less of a scripted testimonial that you'd see on Nutrisystem and more of like a friend, like basically telling you about, like, wow, my life has gotten a lot better because it can do like all these amazing things. It just seems very real. It's more grounded.
Right.
I think the line about million-star dining is one of the big tells of that too, because that's obviously hyperbole, and that's the kind of thing you have between friends, not necessarily with a salesperson or even a stage person. It's just, I'm telling you, it's like a million times better than the other ones. I promise, it's so good. Like it's very, like I said earlier, casual. It's yeah. Um, I was gonna say conversational, and then I read the lines again, and I disagree.
I definitely wouldn't say that this is conversational, but it's not hard sales. It's definitely not hard sales. So what else can you tell me about who you feel this character is? What is their what is the general emotion that somebody should have when listening to you delivering this script?
Confident, very assured.
Hopeful, optimistic.
Wonder.
Okay.
Wonder's a good one. I,
I
I
hope you're
think
all
I'd agree
taking
with
notes.
that for
Wonder's a
sure.
great one. Whimsical is another one from the chat. Also, again, if you're watching in Twitch, exclamation mark chat allows you to send messages to the Discord and we can see them.
Enthusiastic.
That's another good one.
Do we? I know it's not written here, and I don't know if we're supposed to take it 100% at face value, but do we have an idea of how long this spot is supposed to be? I don't know if there's any additional like knowledge beyond what's written here.
Unfortunately, there is not, but from what I
Okay.
can tell from the length of the script itself and the general reads, this is probably going to be a 30-second read.
Okay. Um, is there a best practices with like ad-libbing with commercials? Not like 100%, but like adding little bits of filler words and stuff like that to make it more personal in the sense of sounding like a person. Is there
A lot
is
of
there
that
like a
really depends on the
generally
director.
Yeah, it does. It
okay,
does.
so that's sort of a case by case thing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is a case by case thing.
Okay.
That although that does bring up something really interesting. I don't know if you would. Well, it's generally a good idea to try to like put in a really good, put in your heart and soul into an audition. Like make it sound connected and make it sound like you care about what it is you're talking about. But when it actually comes to after you've landed the job and you are maybe in the studio with the client and the engineer, I have never once had a client tell me, um, please don't ask me any questions about the project itself when we're in the booth. Just don't say anything about it. I've never had a client tell me anything like that. So that would be something that you could ask them directly when you're there. Hey, how do you feel about a little bit of ad lib to make it sound or for me to connect with it a little bit more? If you frame
Okay,
it like
cool.
that, they'll probably tell you yeah or no. I'd say here though, go ahead and give it a try. Let's see what it does. This is
Cool.
this is a great way or a great place to sort of apply that and just see what happens.
Yeah, that does sound pretty clever, you know?
Yeah, it's always a good idea, and it is always encouraged for you to open up a dialogue and a level of communication with your clients wherever possible, because that communicates to them that you are just as involved in their project, that you care about how this is going to come out, and that fosters a really positive working relationship between you and them. I've had
I've
some.
also sorry, I was gonna say I've also found with like um I haven't done any real commercial work or anything, but with like some of the scripted podcasts and stuff that I've done, writers like talking about stuff. generally speaking. They like to talk about why things are the way they are or what they are even. Um so I don't know if it would carry, but I assume it would carry into the other spheres as well. Um
Pretty much everybody who works in media production, pretty much everybody who works with me in media production, there's obviously exceptions everywhere, are creatives, and they're totally willing and open to go ahead and talk to you about their process and about what they're thinking, feeling, what they're looking for. Um, Commercial work is no different. Commercial work is just as creative a process for a lot of them.
cool.
Yeah, one thing, I'm kind of in the same boat. I've never done any paid jobs. I've done some auditions, but nothing's panned out yet. But
Oh, I feel
one thing
that.
I've seen in different clips I've seen on YouTube from some, full-time professional actors, voice actors, is they've said, like in a directed session, one thing that might help is, stick to the copy on the first run, and then maybe say, "Hey, mind if I try this?" And then, "Hey, this I'm having trouble getting the words out the way it's exactly written here. Do you mind if I say this in a way that comes off a little smoother out of my mouth?" And then they may say, "Yeah, sure, run with it." Or they may say, "This writer's really married to this copy," or you may not be aware that the particular phrase you want to change might be like the tagline for that product. And that's definitely an untouchable. So yeah, it doesn't hurt to just ask and say, "Hey, can I play with this middle section a little bit?" Or,
No,
and if they don't
one
like
thing
it, they'll tell you.
yeah, one thing I will say though is more frequently in commercial work than in other kinds of work, uh, these scripts are oftentimes run by a lot of the legal people in the um, in the companies, which is why sometimes they're worded really funky or really technical occasionally. But it's just it's basically just the business practicing CYA, and again, it's always good to just check with them first. Most of the time, you're probably going to get a pretty positive response, but yeah, it's always good to just double check with them. But
Well, and
yeah, no,
adding
that's
to that, I know a lot of the time they're meant for very specific time slots too,
yes,
and
yes.
ad libbing can mess that up and make it more difficult to hit that with the right sort of rhythm and such. So
Well, the good news is that if you give them a really solid read first, and they're like, "Yeah, I really like that," and you offer them, "Hey, can I do just a little bit of ad lib to make it just to give you something different to work with?" They're probably not going to be opposed to that because most studios rent out their time by the hour, and if you complete it within an hour, well, they're going to want to try to make the most out of what they've paid for. So yeah, you know, they'll have you do more. Why not? Heck, I
cool
mean,
beans.
there was once so I speak a little bit of Spanish, and I was doing a script for a company, and they had the script alternately in Spanish as well. So with the time that I had, I did it in Spanish too. So, I mean, it never they didn't take it, but I mean, yeah, they're totally open to stuff like that. And real quick, on a note about the auditions not going anywhere, um, I understand that that's incredibly demoralizing, and it's true. It is. It really feels bad to just throw stuff out over and over and over and over again and not
It's
hear
part
anything
of it.
back.
It's expected.
Right,
Me
right.
personally,
But the other thing is that it's not a value judgment on you as a performer.
right?
Most of the time, when you are rejected for a part, um, it's a recognition of incompatibility. The people are just thinking your performance and what we're looking for isn't really compatible. Does that mean that you did a bad job? Probably not.
I
Most
like to
likely
think of
not.
it like you wouldn't take a snowmobile on a bicycle course, like on a bike trail, and
Yeah.
you wouldn't take a
Yeah.
Right.
bicycle through, a foot and a half of snow.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's a bad bicycle, it just means you're in the wrong environment for it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And I since I've gotten to the mindset of just set it and forget it
Hmm.
with like auditions, it's made things so much better. I don't remember
Oh
who I
yes.
heard say it, but someone said on a podcast I was listening to always make auditions just some small part in the middle of your day
Hmm.
so that there's stuff around it and it's not the day.
Yeah.
It is just one of 12 things
Hmm.
you're doing. And I think
100%.
that's helped a lot too, just having different things to focus on so that it doesn't feel so significant
Yeah.
um, over the course of the day. Because
I
it can
feel like
get daunting very quickly.
Right. Right.
sorry, but
No,
I
go
feel
ahead.
like essentially, making it a small part of your day is kind of like the normal for most people just starting out because one may have school, one may have a job, and I guess in a way, if you want to make voiceover your profession in general, you do have to put the effort into doing auditions, expecting, well, not really expecting like approval from certain people to get the roles, but that's why we just take it one step at a time, one audition, two auditions a day. It'll get you eventually somewhere.
Well, if you're starting, there's one question that really you should be focusing on, and we can talk about this more after the workout. But I feel that if you're just barely beginning, auditions shouldn't be what you worry about right off the bat. Um, not that you shouldn't do them. You're probably not going to be quite as likely to land the work, but do them anyway. But it's not really the most important thing that you should focus on to start building your career. And again, I can get into that, but let's let's get back to voiceover at hand, shall we? The script
Oh,
Gotcha.
stuff.
actually, before we start, I just wanted
Uh,
to interject and say that real world experience does help you a lot, alongside the lessons. But I feel like they're like when you're starting out, and it especially counts for me because I am an amateur that's like just putting myself out there after like a couple of classes under my belt. But it's like constantly working on those skills and working on things that are underdeveloped and like working on 'em so you can be on par with, everybody else who is eager to get a job.
yeah. Well, fun fact: if you want to be better in one side of voiceover, you should study the opposite. So if you want to be a better commercial actor, you should probably study character work. And if you want to be a better character actor, you should definitely study commercial work. 100%. But anyway, let's get back to this. So we've got some ideas about the character, and we've got some ideas about the emotions that somebody should be feeling while listening to you, while listening to your character in this particular script. Um, does anybody have any questions, comments, anything like that about what we've spoken about so far?
Um, when I mentioned the pathos part in the American Express ad, are we going for sentimental or are we going for like, this is amazing? This should be blah, 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 aside from like, "Samana-mana-ma, hamana-mina-mina-na," like in terms of that cadence. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, which one do you think sounds better or fits the script and the message more?
My first instinct was the sentimental one.
Hmm.
But I kind of want to like have like I want to ride a fine line between enthusiastic but like trying to tone it down, you know?
Okay. I mean, a controlled enthusiasm could really work for this one too. Yeah. But ultimately, you got to know exactly what it is that you're trying to say, the final ultimate message of the script. So if you need to, go ahead and take a look at it, read it over from top to bottom again. If you could sum up the general message of this script into one sentence, what would it be?
Let me look. Credit cards will improve your life for the better, and here's what amazing things it could do.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
Excluding the word credit card, I'll show you the wonders of what this specific item can do, or I'll show you the wonders of and benefits of what this can do.
Yeah, my thoughts are actually kind of echoed with what the TMC workout just messaged in. American Express can help you live the life you never thought you could.
Oh,
Mm.
that's good. Live the life
So
you never thought you could. That is, I like that.
that's kind of the general message that the script is going for. So if you have that in mind, what emotions resonate with you with that message? Like what does that make you feel?
It
Hopeful?
makes me feel hopeful.
Okay. Hopeful is a good one. Okay, that's another emotion that you can add into this. Hopeful. Anything else? Just picking your brains. I mean, if there's nothing, there's nothing, but anything else?
Excited.
Hey, that's a
Like,
good one.
ambitious even. Uh,
Okay, ambitious.
Disney magic feels.
Disney magic feels.
Ah, okay.
uh, should I? Hmm. Using the other company names. Um, I guess not other company because American Express.
Yeah, I would caution you when you're doing this exercise, like trying to figure out specifically what the script is saying. Don't make it generic. Don't say credit cards or this product. Say the actual brand name, American Express.
Yeah.
Because what you want to do is first and foremost, as a voice actor, you are a service provider, and the service that you are providing is connecting your audience or connecting a company's audience with their message emotionally. So you need to find a way to connect yourself emotionally to what's going on. It may not be the product specifically, it may just be the general feel of what's going on in the script. Because again, we thought hopeful, excited, enthusiastic, personally connected, whimsical, wondrous. These are words that we've connected ourselves to for this particular script. But what you need to do as the service provider here, if you are hired to do this job, you need to sound like you care about what it is you're talking about and that you really care about what this company can do for somebody buying it. You're not trying to shove a product down somebody's throat. Least of all with this script. What you're really trying to do is you're trying to give somebody a reason to care. And you're trying to give them a reason to care specifically about what it is you're talking about. Even if it's like a I don't know, some software that helps people with fulfillment on large scales. Like you need to have some reason to connect yourself to that and to make the product sound like it's something that they should be caring about. Now again, that's kind of the magic of voiceover. We we have to oftentimes pretend like we care about things that we genuinely don't. So, um, as you can see, I don't much care about American Express. I have other interests in mind, but you could always tie in whatever the product is with the general message and an emotional connection.
Like,
Hey,
I think one thing that kind of gets me in the mood to emotionally connect with my script is kind of like reading the line over. It's like when I do a line and I hear it pictured in my head, like what interests me? Like what would get me excited about the car? And then I kind of take it from there so I can really put myself in that headspace.
yeah, no, that's good. That's good. This one, I think excitement is fine, but it needs to be a professional excitement. So we're not going to be, don't deliver this like you're, I don't know, at
I
a
think
concert or
Like I
something like
said,
that.
it was controlled enthusiasm.
Yeah,
Like
it's
like
like
I
that,
controlled
think
you know.
enthusiasm, but still.
I think a point that is sort of hammered in the script as well is one of relief. Um,
Yes, relief is a
you
really
can
good.
you can celebrate the things that you've forgotten. You can get home. You can find a doctor who speaks your language. Blah 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 blah. Like it's things that you've been waiting to happen or didn't that you didn't think could happen have happened, and that is so special. And we did that for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, relief is a fantastic, fantastic one to add. Thank you.
It's like, holy shit, I never thought I could do that and I can do it. You know, it's like
Yeah,
that is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Well, now that we have some emotional juice going, let's go ahead and get back into the reads. So we're going to go ahead, go up to the top on this one, and we're going to start over with James. James, whenever you're ready, give us a read.
All right. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've been all over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak their found doctors who speak your language, We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into million-star dining. We've even turned we've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Okay, let's open it up. What did y'all think of that read, and do you think he hit the goals that we were going for?
It sounded more like an instructional video. It's like, so let's say you have this card. You first do this, and then you do that, you know?
It sounded very safe to me. I feel like it could have like you could have taken more risks and been a bit more animated with enthusiasm.
How
Yeah,
about
like
Any
you?
anything else?
Um, in terms of like your voice, it seems like the timbre is like just really nice. So like you have a really good voice. I'm gonna just say that right now. So like it's like I would listen
Thanks.
to you on a commercial, but like yeah, nice.
So something that I noticed was the main points of a lot of the sentences, the main points of what you were trying to say were missed.
Okay.
What I mean by is we've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries. You kind of just blasted right through it. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries. Found tired travelers a bed. Right? So you need to talk about problem, solution. Give it. Let us see the scene by bringing to light the things that you like, bringing to light the problems you solved.
I'm gonna highlight all these now so I
Okay.
hit those.
I think that's what I mean by animated as well, is just giving it a little more variety in the delivery rather than it just being very basic.
Yeah, because each one of these is an individual scene. So it's going to be paired up with something going on screen, and you are going to be bringing that to life. So you need to see what each of these lines are doing. So we personally delivered replacement cards. You know, the suggestion to that is, what other major financial company will personally go to you and deliver a card? We found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses. It's all about the main focuses of the problems that you've solved. Of well, I mean, since we already discussed the character, more of the wishes that you have granted or the possibilities
Right.
that you have opened up, right? So I'd like to hear more of that. I'd like to hear more of your personal involvement and more of a sense of pride in the fact that you've been able to lift people up this way.
Just to add to that, how close is the person you're telling this to, distance wise?
This would be like a face to face, so pretty close proximity.
Sound like you're barking at him just a little bit. Soften it up a bit.
All right. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We've personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
All right, I'm going to open it up. What did y'all think of that one?
Hey, James. Um, I'm going to piggyback up what I think Jamie said. So I think you could stand to get a little more intimate with the script, with the mic. Um, it still feels like someone's being talked at instead of kind of gently reminded of all these amazing things that you've done. and you have a very warm tone to your voice naturally. So I'd like to see you take it like really far. Like you're so thoughtful about all these things. You're so engaged. You can really see every moment that you've brought to life as the character. And then one final thing, um, it's too much sameness. Someone mentioned it before. Every scene is different. Every scene you probably could have a different attitude about. You know,
Yeah,
finding
crank
a
that
lost dress is
warmthness
not
up
the
to
same.
11.
Yeah, I'll end it at that. But like everything is like there's chances to be playful, there's chances to be intimate, there's chances to be very warm, there's chances to be um, proud. Anyway, take it in all these different directions. Is what I would say.
Okay. I think I misheard Jamie. He might have cut out. I thought he said to turn it up a little bit. So I might have missed that. So I'll, I'll,
No,
I'll
Yeah,
no,
turn it
crank
down. I'll
that
go the other
warmth,
way with it.
he said
crank that
soften
Okay.
it
warmth
up.
to 11,
Okay.
bro.
Okay.
Jamie said soften it up. Soften it up a little bit. Is what he said.
Said warmth. Warmth, that's what I mean, warmth.
Oh,
He
I
was
agree with
saying to
Amanda.
make it more intimate rather than like make it more personal, more like you're talking to
Gotcha.
someone you know and you're
That's what I
talking
mean when I
directly
say
to them.
crank the warmth up to 11, like make it intimate. Like use the warmth in your voice and use it to make it more intimate. That's what I mean when I say crank the warmth up to 11.
Yeah, get up on that mic and get warm.
All right.
From the top, whenever you're ready.
All right. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers abed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We've personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a 1 million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound this does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
All right. And what did y'all think of that one?
The find doctors who speak your language line was flawless. The way you hit your in that was so good. I don't know if that's meaningful or helpful in this case, but it was very, very good.
Well, it's
Thank you.
specific, and that's important. Anybody else? Any other thoughts?
Yeah,
Was the
I think that
warmth
was.
at 11 or did I miss?
I was going to say, I think that was a huge step in the right direction.
Okay, good.
Uh, what I would say to even take it further is I want you to pick a peak in the story, like an emotional peak. For me, I think it's the second to last little stanza where they say, finding a lost loved one. I think that's a good option. Obviously, I leave it to you, just an idea. But find a place to kind of like give the story its emotional peak. To really, that's when you really grab it. You can achieve it by slowing down. You could achieve it by a pause. Let things sink in, whatever you want to do. But I think pick a spot where you really drive it home. But the warmth is right there, and your voice is so suited to it. It's gentle, it's welcoming, so that's really nice.
All right. Anyone
All
else?
right. I think that's good. One last time, and I
Okay.
think you'll have it.
Okay. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers abed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We've personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a 1 million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Finger snaps all around.
One minimal quibble at the end. I think realize and potential could have equal prominence in the slogan there. Realize the potential. Just I don't know, I feel like it tapered and it shouldn't have tapered at the end.
Okay, a little more staccato, or not staccato, but it'll just not draw out potential as much.
No, I'm saying draw out potential a little bit more so it feels like what am I trying to say? I guess maybe don't act like it's an ending. Um like as if realize the potential is a hidden midpoint on something. So like realize the potential doesn't feel like it's dropping. It's more of a
Yeah, I think I got an idea what to do with that.
okay. That's really the only thing I would like, and that is very nitpicky, and I understand that wholeheartedly. But that's the only thing that I'm really like sort of picking up on that I think could be better is just giving realize the potential a lot of oomph.
So then, why don't you
Okay.
give us an ABC take on just the final line?
Okay. American Express. Realize the potential. American Express. Realize the potential. American Express. Realize the potential.
Okay. Any of those sound good?
I think 2 was my favorite.
Yeah, I like
If
D.
Yeah,
we
I
want to.
agree.
I was a little bit more of a fantasy myself, but I think we got some good stuff to work with. Yeah, no, I think with this one, you definitely nailed it. It felt a lot more like you were talking to somebody who you cared about, and your emotional connection with trying to make their life easier came through very clearly. So I think this was an absolutely solid read from you.
Good
I just want to
direction,
say,
these guys.
yeah, I just want to say one thing.
Thanks.
When you go back and watch this, if you just compare your first read to your last one, it was a huge difference. It was crazy. Like the
Yeah.
first one sounds like totally whatever, like it's passable. Not even. I mean, I won't. To be blunt, it was like whatever. But the last one was like, oh yeah, it was spicy. Anyway, I will stop that.
All right, I'll watch it back. Thanks.
All right, then let's move it right along. Justin, you're up.
Okay. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We've personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned Free Star into Million Star Dining. We've even we've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Okay, opening it up. What did y'all think?
Well, you definitely read the script. That's all I'm gonna say. It did feel very red. It just felt like there was like no flavor.
Yeah, I think you might have to
A
add
mayonnaise
some
read.
more emotion in certain parts of your script.
I did like the ending though, the last line. That sounded pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like sort of building off of Amanda's point. I feel like it was like if I said I want a commercial, that was a commercial for sure. Um and that's not necessarily bad. It means that you have a lot of places still to go with it. Um I think giving it more of a personal touch would definitely help. More of yourself, not what the commercial voice might be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like make it genuine, make it real.
Okay.
All right, Justin, whenever you're ready, from the top.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Listen, day and night, we make things happen. We help celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally deliver replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned turned 3-star into million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Okay, I have one particular note that really sticks out to me that I'd like to address. Um, we've even returned a loved one home. The emotion that you chose for that was like almost boasting excitement. We've even returned a loved one home. And that came off really salesy because you started moving into that more disconnected, um, it, just kind of boastful read. Um, that particular section, I'd like for you to try it as as more of like a sentimental moment. Like you're seeing these people hugging after not seeing each other for so long, and you kind of feel that warmth between them as they finally reconnect after being away for who knows how long. So
Okay.
I'd like for you to just, because the thing is you're not doing bad with everything else. Everything else you've given every other line its own sort of its own scene. It's just right there you immediately flip into this boastful, salesy sound, and it carries through to the end. I would like for you to approach just that one line when you get to it with a lot of warmth and sentimentality.
Okay.
Um, I think all over the world we've gone above and beyond 24/7. I feel like you kind of rushed through that, and it was all a little bit flat to me. Um, I think with that line, take your time a little bit, hit above and beyond, hit 24/7 with some accent, and let it like really just sort of hammer home the fact that American Express does more. They constantly do more, and that is something that you believe wholeheartedly. Um and really just like let those ideas stand tall.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we need a pattern break quite yet, but I'd
What's a
like to hear
pattern
what you're going
break?
to do with this one, Justin, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Speed wise, am I still good or is it like too fast, too slow?
Nobody mentioned anything, so clearly there was no complaints about it.
I think
Okay.
you could slow down in a few places, but I don't think it's anything like overall, I think your pace is great. I don't think there's any huge problems. The only one that really stuck out to me was the line that I mentioned. It felt kind of rushed through. So
Okay. Yeah, okay. Right. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We've personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into million star turned 3-star into million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Okay, opening it up.
I delight in that. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, that was much, much better.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really like that switch at the end to being a little more sentimental about
It
that
lets
particular scene.
the it lets the enthusiasm and sort of playfulness of the earlier lines stand a little bit taller, and it like slows things down again for the like the sting at the end with the slogan. Um I yeah, I think it was great.
It also changes the connotation of what you're saying because when you say it like, "Hey, we even returned a loved one home," it's really self-centered. It's like, "Hey, look what I can do. I'm amazing." Versus, "We even returned a loved one home." I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
got a different connotation to it, and I feel like that is really, really super important to highlight here. And you did it, and it sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
anybody have any thoughts? Anything else before we move on?
I don't think it needs a retake, but the all I think all every time you read the middle line, we've tracked down lost wedding dresses. You stressed the word dresses and not wedding dresses. So just something to keep in mind. I don't think it needs a reread because it's just that one little bit. Um, but I think every time you read it, it was lost wedding dresses instead of lost wedding dresses because there's a billion types of dresses. We're talking about wedding dresses because that's an important type of dress. So just something to keep in mind um, as far as word stress, but I don't think it needs a retake.
I don't think so either. I think it was fantastic.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. That's a good point about that.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and move it right along to. I already forgot your name, so I'm just going to go with
Okay, Bayan.
Van. Sorry.
Yes. No, it's okay.
Ah.
Well, whenever you're ready,
Okay,
whenever you're ready, go for it.
gotcha. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond, 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
All right. Whenever you guys, or what do you guys think? Whenever you guys are ready. Jeebus.
First
All
and
right.
most obvious
Slow
note,
down.
slow down.
Yeah.
That's what I
Your
was about to
pay
say, and I'm the
You
queen of
started out
rushing.
okay. The first line or two was all right, and you just got faster and faster as you went along. There were a few points where I feel like you tried to slow it down and like took your time on like 2 or 3 words, and then right back at the beginning of the next line.
Gotcha,
Um,
gotcha.
so definitely try to keep your pace relatively even, and for sure just slower than you think you need to talk. Um,
Let's just say nerves got to me, and I was like, ooh.
they
Okay.
100% do.
I can relate.
Okay. Well, let me throw on a few nerves, but try to take off the pressure from that from your shoulders at the exact same time. For those of you who are new here and who haven't joined us for this, I apologize for taking a quick break right here, but I realized I didn't establish these rules. We have two very important rules when it comes to the performance part. Oh, thanks, James. Thanks for
Yeah,
the
I had to do
siren.
it in Mateo's absence.
I appreciate that. Okay, so we have two particular rules that we always abide by here. They are named after.
Oh.
Thank you for that. Um, they are named after two attendees to the meetings that we've had in the past, and I that's why they sound weird. So the rules are the Dan rule and the Nephilim rule. I will write them down in the chat just so that they're very clear. So the Dan rule states that while you are up to perform, you do not direct yourself. You let everybody else direct you. We want you focused on your performance. You aren't the director. You won't be hired to be the director. You're probably just going to be hired to be an actor. In which case, focus on that and let the directors guide you in the right direction. I swear I can English. Um, the other rule, the Nephilim rule, is do not apologize for your reads either before, during, or after. Just because you mess something up doesn't mean that we immediately value judgment you as being, a lesser human being or something like that. I don't know why people get so nervous about that. Um, Mistakes happen. That's why there's an entire portion of the voiceover industry devoted to just editing. So just because you make a mistake, it's fine. Whatever. Just redo it. It happens all the time at every single level of voiceover. Um, so the apologies are only going to put you in a more self-destructive head state, and we really don't want that for you. So no apologizing for your reads. I mean, of course, if you offend somebody, then make up to them directly, but we're not even going to go there. And just when you're done, focus on your performance and not the direction. Okay?
Gotcha. In that case, I rescind the previous
Thank
apology.
you very much for doing so. I truly appreciate that. Now,
Yeah.
um, we got a note from Twitch over here. Some parts felt good. It wasn't delivered when it wasn't delivered as quick. Uh, where those felt like it was reading off a script, but the slower parts were delivered with the right emotion. Yeah, I would say that take your time
Mm,
with it. Slow down, pace yourself through the script. Um, Start with that, and then we'll move
gotcha.
forward.
So just kind of like slow it down.
Yeah, control your pace. Just every single line you are meandering through the scene. I want you to paint the scene. Walk with us and show us what's happening around you.
Gotcha. Oh, I think your voice cut off.
Yeah, no, I muted. No,
Oh,
I
okay.
know I know what I'm doing.
Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers abed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond, 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a 1 million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Okay. I'm not asking you to give me feedback on your read. What I'm asking you is how do you feel right now? How did you how like what were your feelings throughout
I'm gonna be honest, slowing it down took every living will of me.
It
I'm
does,
a
for
I'm a
sure.
really fast-paced person, so when
hmm
I slowed it down, I was like, it's dragging on.
Well, the thing is it may have felt like interminably slow to you, but to us listening, that was a really, really good pace. It was
Oh,
much easier for us to follow along with what you were saying, with your emotional development. It was very, very easy to listen to.
I see.
And we're not keeping time right now, but I'm sure you still probably had a little bit of leeway, some room to play with, anyways.
I will say, you could do with a little bit of a pause between the last two lines.
Last
Um,
two.
so between does this sound like the service you get from your card and American Express, realize the potential. I think you could use a bit of a pause between there. Those kind of ran together like they were a single line, and I think that does a disservice to the slogan. Um,
Mm,
the company's going to care a lot about their name and slogan having their day in the sun, and I think you could have done with a bit of pause there.
gotcha.
I think the delivery was good aside from that. I think there could be a little bit of pause. Little bit of a pause. I know how to talk.
Okay.
Anything else?
Please don't
Okay.
be shy. I need all the feedback I can get.
Not
On
literally same. I know exactly how you feel, but that was much, much better. I think you did great.
Thank you.
And well, here's the thing. Part of your journey is going to be accepting when you don't get feedback.
Mm.
Tell me
Part of your
about it.
journey is going to be, hey, I don't have anything to say because nothing stuck out.
A ton of the time, especially early on when you're dealing with a lot of like micro or even no budget things, like really early when you're still getting all the experience, people will say nothing. A lot of the time because they just don't have a lot of experience directing. So they don't know, they don't have the trained ear yet either. Um yeah, you will spend a lot of time getting no feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I'm
There
learning
is.
how to accept like not needing like constant validation. Like there's this pressure to always like wipe the floor with your audition and always having to like be like bam boom pow star power superstar, you know? But
Well,
like, I think the real magic happens, at least from my experience, when you don't seek the validation, you just kind of get in the zone.
My my mindset that I've been trying to cultivate, it is very difficult to do so. Uh that was sort of thrust upon me a few years ago was if they say nothing, assume you were flawless.
Mm-hmm.
Assume you were perfect if they say nothing. That may not be true, but they didn't say their piece, so you were great. Um yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember where I was going with the rest of that sentence, so that's where it ends. But
But I do remember, so one of the advice that I just heard earlier was pause between the last two lines, right?
yes, exactly.
yeah, you were told that. Hmm.
Okay.
So treat the last line as if it is absolutely by itself. Does not exist as part of the rest of the thing. So it needs to exist wholly on its own. It is a tree stump in the middle of a grassy lawn. Um I don't know why that imagery was what it was, but it was. So, you know. Um but yeah, no. Definitely give that last line its due.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Okay, hey, question. Were you feeling tense while reading the script?
Yeah, for sure. In the sense that by slowing it down, I was like, I had to really like, I don't know how to like imagine like you're always bursting in your soul, and you're like, ooh, rescind that just a
I
bit.
because in the especially in the beginning part, there were parts where it didn't necessarily feel smooth. It was like you were hesitating yourself, so the inflection was affected by it. So, like for example, we've helped celebrate. Like like there were moments where your inflection would sort of stop, like not stop. It just would somewhat ruin the flow of the line. And
Mm.
yeah, and yes, like over and over time, you did get a bit faster, but I'd say it's much better from your read last time. So yeah, and I also agree with Ab to put that pause between American Express and the slogan. So just
Mm.
so overall, since this is supposed to be like a warmy kind of read, just let go all of that pressure. Just you know, just be relaxed and just try. It's like you're it's just imagine like you're just saying something good about something, like saying something genuinely good like about something. So that's all I have to say.
Mm. Just kind of like be smoother with it.
Yes. Eh,
Mm.
Yeah, on a technical note, it didn't happen so much on the second one. There were probably 4 or 5 lines on your first read through that you added a bit of a chuckle or laugh, when you said certain words, and while that may fit with some things like forgotten anniversaries, maybe it's a funny scene and the guy's, like, begging his whatever, and so maybe there's a chuckle due on that one, but then it happened again on some of the other stuff that wasn't necessarily a humorous note. And
Mm.
at some point, it just becomes a bit, and it's like, oh, geez, the laugh again. So you want to try to tame that whenever you can. Put it in if it's needed, but if it's not needed, sometimes like I was guilty of this for a long time, and I still do it sometimes. Um, you don't know what to do, and you want to make it sound natural. Oh, just and it just kind of falls out of your mouth. You're like, what was that?
Ah.
That's just
Okay.
what's happened with me personally, and I've done a lot better to tame that, but it does still happen, and, like, I'll do an audition, it'll fall out, and I'm like, "Ah, no, 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 that laugh doesn't belong there."
Mm.
All right. Feeling confused enough yet?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'd like for you to take another take from the top, and then let's see let's see what you can take from that direction. And if not, I've got an idea for you to try.
Gotcha. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, oh, wait, all over the world, we've gone above and beyond, 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Release the potential.
Um,
Okay.
for
Technical
sure,
note.
make sure you get the slogan exactly as written. You said release the potential
Oh,
instead of realize the potential.
realize the potential.
Slogans and brand names
Yeah.
super important to get exactly as written. Um
Okay. Okay.
Gotcha.
Let's try something.
Yeah.
What are you trying to get your listener to feel when you say the first line? Day and night we make things happen. What should somebody feel?
Hmm. Kind of like what I said earlier, hopeful.
Okay. Okay. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
This is going to be an exercise for you to try. How much experience in voiceover do you have?
I'm gonna be completely honest, none.
Okay, no, that's perfectly fine. I just want to know.
Yeah.
Um, so here's something to try with this. Um, if you don't feel comfortable or if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, we can move on. But this exercise might take a little bit for you because instead of trying to think of all the things that you should be avoiding or that you shouldn't do, because let's face it, there's a psychological component to that when you talk about the things that you shouldn't be doing, those are the things that you're going to be doing.
Mm.
Instead, I want to direct your attention on the things you should be doing. And with this, each and every line should elicit an emotion, some kind of feeling. So you should ask yourself, what should my listener be feeling when I say this?
Mm.
So, for instance, if you want somebody to feel comforted, well, what are some things that can help somebody feel comforted? Well, oftentimes in voiceover, a good way to help somebody feel comforted is for you to sound confident because discomfort comes from a place of unsurety. And when they hear somebody who is more sure, then it helps them feel more comfort. Day and night,
Mm.
we make things happen.
Okay.
So the goal was to try to make somebody feel like, okay, I can trust this person. They've got it,
Mm.
right? So the exercise here for you to do will be to look at each one of these lines because each line is a scene and give it some kind of an emotion that your listener needs to feel. That should be your focus. How do I help my listener feel this when I say, we've returned a loved one home? What should they feel?
Relief.
Okay. So if they should feel relief, what will help somebody feel that relief?
Hmm. A soothing voice.
Okay, a soothing sound. So then say, give me that line, we've returned a loved one home in a soothing way.
Let's see where it is. We've even returned a loved one home.
Okay, a little bit slower.
We've even returned a loved one home.
Smooth it out a bit. You're adding a break right after even. We've
Mm.
even returned a loved one home.
We've even returned a loved one home.
There you go. Now you're getting closer. You
If
got a
I
little bit of a
may,
laugh in there, but
yeah,
Yeah.
the laugh I think betrayed you a little bit there. But I think it helps to get, and Mike's already alluding to it, you got to get super specific with the scenes. And the more intense the scene in a way, the more intense the emotion you'll elicit. So these people that you reunited, how long were they apart? Are they married? Is it a veteran coming home to his family and kids? Like these are questions you have to ask yourself, and they're going to change the emotional intensity with which you deliver it. But I mean, if you imagine that these are people, let's say, that were separated for multiple days in a natural disaster, they didn't have any cash, had no access to money, they had to put it on a credit card in order to travel home to make sure that this person was safe. You finally reunited them. I mean, how much relief are we talking here? Like for me, that would be like, whoa, this is life-changing levels of relief.
mhm.
So
Mm.
again, if you make the scene very specific, you'll be able to elicit precisely the emotion that you want. So
Mm.
for me, having a word is important, but I feel like you really need to specify the actual things going on.
And those sorts of approaches will get easier in time.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
longer you do this, the more often you do this, the easier those sorts of approaches will come. So if it takes you minutes to do that for each line, now where you're at now, it'll take a lot less time in a year or whatever. Like it's a skill. It's a skill that's developed over time. Um it's also why a lot of voice actors recommend improv training, because that's the whole point, is making very specific decisions very quickly.
Oh yeah.
Um, I haven't had any, so I can't comment on its usefulness personally, but I do play D&D, which is in a similar vein. Um, but yeah, no. So I just wanted to add that, those sorts of decisions are super important, and they take a long time early on, but as you get better and better, they'll get better and better.
Mm. I
Yeah.
think one concern for sure in my case is the connection of certain words.
Okay.
Uh, I think because like usually when I talk to other people's, I really break apart my words. I guess it's just the way I was taught
Okay.
to speak.
Okay.
Is there anything like feedback wise I could do to kind of like put the words, I make the words like flow more smoother in a sense?
Um, a general thing that you can do with any issue or any problem that you know that you have when it comes to a particular script, or it comes to communication, I should say. Let me clarify that. Is be really intentional about it. Pay attention to yourself when you speak and how that sounds, and start working on smoothing that out a little bit more.
Gotcha.
So you said we've even returned a loved one home.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the ways that you can elongate a word is elongating the vowels. That's usually the easiest way to slow down a word is elongating the vowels. We've even returned a loved one home. You see that? The
Mm.
elongated vowels help smooth things out. So, one way to smooth out your communication in that sense is first off, pay close attention to yourself. And secondly, if you notice that, try elongating your vowels a little bit more.
Mm, okay.
In
But that's really granular, that's really in depth. And we can talk about that one on one at some other time if you'd like.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, why don't you go ahead, just slow it down just a little bit more, give us one more read, and then we'll move along.
Okay. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond, 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language, we've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
And that was your best read so far.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
100% agree.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that was genuinely your best read so far.
Yeah, I agree. That was really, really good.
I
Oh,
will
my
say
soul.
that yeah, I agree. It was your best take. I will say that the you spoke the like you were a bit too fast on the impossible since there should be like a room for a break in between.
Mm,
But other than that, I think this is much better. So good job.
Yeah.
thank you.
So, whatever you did to help you control your pace on this one, that is a skill that you should practice. So, whenever you find other scripts, try to make it a point, even if they're character scripts, even if it's asking you to read it super fast, try to make it a point to read it very, very slow and very controlled. Just because
Gotcha.
you know that that's something you struggle with. So, if you can get really good at doing that, then you can get really good at playing with your pacing. So,
Mm,
you've got some homework to work on now.
If you
okay.
have to, if you have to, take the script through a couple of times super super slow and robotic, like day and night we make, like just be very very slow with it if you have to. That
Mm,
might help you sort of get out into the mindset of each individual word having its time, and each, sort of thinking about your pacing a little more reflexively rather than needing to reconsider it with every line. You know what I
Right.
mean?
mm.
um did you ever do any music or anything
I
in school?
I did acting. I did musical theater, and I was in choir for 8 years.
Okay. I don't know. I was never in choir, so this may not track exactly, but when I played the violin, I was in the school orchestra for like 6 years, and whenever we had a new piece, we would always play it at like half speed or even slower depending on its intended tempo. For a while, we would spend a couple of weeks at least taking it a lot slower than it was written for the purpose of getting all of the notes and rhythms right. So taking that sort of approach to scripts wouldn't be a terrible idea. That may be less tenable for like whole scripts, but like for short things like this, it's for sure an option to deliberately slow it way down past the point of natural sounding, just to get everything in it that you want to have in it. You know what I mean?
Mm, mhm.
Yeah. Well, still, what you provided to us was a vast improvement to where you started. And were you feeling as nervous with that last one?
No, not at all.
Okay. The nerves
Awesome.
are a huge thing to deal with, and
Mhm.
they're probably the number one thing that's going to absolutely throw off your read. And the only way to deal with that is to expose yourself to it as much as possible.
Mm,
Yep.
gotcha.
Having so I started my voiceover career in 2008. I've been behind the microphone quite a while, and even before I start these practices, I still get nervous. So it's not quite something that goes away. It's just something you learn to face and deal with. So I would also encourage you, look for as many other practices as you can. Read in front of other people. Just face that experience.
Mm, okay.
So let's go ahead and move it right along. Avalon, you are up.
Yeah. Okay. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into 1 million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible. Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
All right, opening it up. What did you all think?
Yeah, I got into it about, I'd say, halfway through. The first half, the tonality was almost exclusively the same. The cadence was like da da ba da ba ba da ba da ba ba da ba da ba. And then once you got to about the midsection, you started to like have actual opinions about the things you were saying, which I think was way more effective. And then by the end, I think you were grooving. So I think I just want to hear another read, to be honest.
Awesome. Thanks. Uh, Something that remains a bugbear on my back is keeping my headphones on with monitor when I'm reading. So I always end up starting out listening to my voice rather than actually doing the thing.
Take
You
your
can
headphones
never
off.
be an audience and a performer. You
Yeah,
just
take
can't.
your headphones off.
Yep. I've learned to do it with character scripts, but for some reason, stuff like this, it never thinks. It never
Well, do it now. Do it live.
We'll do it
Headphones up
live.
from the
I can't
top.
do it. Okay, great. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into 1 million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible. Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Okay, opening it up. What did you all think?
May I ask what was your can I ask the intention of of what were you trying to do?
That is a great question. um to be perfectly honest with you, I have lost it. And that probably shows.
100%.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I
slightly
can tell.
100%.
depressing.
Yeah, I can tell. Because when I was listening to it the second time, I don't like if you were going for anything hopeful or anything warm, I didn't hear it at all. It felt uh, pretty neutral in my opinion. So that's something that's something you need to figure out with.
Yeah, so
Awesome,
Avalon,
thanks.
Oh yeah,
you
I got an American Express card. It's it's something.
yeah, well, no, what you gave us, Avalon, was an announcer read, which was completely emotionally disconnected.
That tracks. Okay.
It was simply words coming out. So
Right.
remember, this is why we did the little exercise of figuring out specifically the one through line, the one like overall message that you can compress for this script into a single sentence. That's why we did that. So you have a point, you have a purpose. And it was again, American Express can help you live the life you never thought you could.
Right.
Or American Express can solve the problems that you thought were impossible.
Okay.
In fact, if we want to do it like super, super simply, just look at the title. American Express can help you realize your potential.
Right.
So that needs to be your through that needs to be your message in this.
Okay.
Everything is hopeful. Everything has this warm, positive, enthusiastic feel to it because you've solved impossible problems for people.
Right. Okay.
Go for it.
Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we have gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into 1 million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible. Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Why are you shouting?
Okay, so I didn't fully realize that I was shouting. I nah.
So okay,
I
okay, okay, okay.
I
Hey,
think I was going for
I,
big and
I
so
didn't realize how loud I was
here's the
being.
thing. Here's the thing. What you did though was you added an emotion into the read entirely. So let's adjust that. Okay? So you successfully went through the exercise of instead of it being a list of just a checklist to go through, you now had some emotional connection to it. Um, let's readjust that emotion. So, what were you feeling? What emotion was going? What emotions were going through you?
So I was trying to lean on hopeful and danger. Okay. I was trying to lean more on like excitement and hopeful. More
Okay,
excitement than hope, but
okay,
still
okay.
both.
Still, though, you added in those emotions very clearly. So let's replace excitement with a different one. So, how about empathy?
Okay.
Feel the excitement, the happiness, and the relief of the people you've helped do these things.
Okay.
So, day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries. You know, people forget that
Right.
stuff sometimes. It's unfortunate. You're married to the same person for so long that sometimes the anniversary slips your mind. You know, or whatever. I don't know. I'm just coming up with a random story here, but yeah, I mean, sure, that could be a little bit funny. We've
It
helped
is
celebrate
funny.
forgotten anniversaries.
It is funny. I was
Yeah.
gonna say there's chances for humor in the script that I think we haven't taken advantage of yet. It's clearly funny. Like you're getting bailed out by a credit card because you forgot who knows who, some big anniversary, let's say, and you're like, oh shit, I gotta go buy some stuff. I don't have any kill. Anyway, it's funny. But if I want to just summarize one thing, and then I'm going to be quiet. You made yourself the star of the show was the big problem I heard. So it was you were highly emotive, um, but you're just not the star of the show. The character really is kind of it's more hinting at the emotions than like you don't need to show us like yeah okay you can feel things that's wonderful, but it's much more subtle. That's all.
I get
I
you.
think you can keep the same emotions. I don't think you need to change them. Actually, I just think they're just much more subtle.
Right.
Well, I think excitement has a place. I think it does have a place in here. I don't know if it's going to be throughout the whole thing, but I definitely want to hear you feeling the emotions, the relief, the happiness, the joy that the people who you've helped solve these problems are feeling right now.
Honestly, a big part of what I'm struggling with at the moment is that
Hmm.
my nerves are higher than
Okay.
usual
Okay.
for these things, and I think that's one of the big things that's getting in my way because it's the connections aren't doing what they're supposed to.
Well, then, that sounds like a perfect time for the pattern break you were asking about. So, I need you to do this in some way that's going to make you nervous. So, you are a pirate captain. All right?
Okay.
I want you to be a really expressive pirate captain. Peg leg, hook, eye patch, all of it. All right? And you are trying to sell your crew on American Express.
Some our flag means death nonsense. I love it. Okay.
Exactly. All of that. Just go for it.
Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers abed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We've personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into 1 million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible. Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Okay. I like it. You have it up to an 8. I want you to turn it to 11. You are talking across the bow of the ship, and you want the
So
person
I'm
in the
supposed to
back
yell
to hear you.
now.
Yes, you are supposed to yell now. And feel free to ad lib. Yar, me mateys, day and night we make things happen. Like,
Just make it a Capital One commercial.
seriously, just do it. Turn it up to 11, yell it out, back up from the microphone, add in ad libs, do whatever you want. Go for it.
What do you think covered me plastic eye?
All right, give me just a moment. Sorry, I gotta tab back over. Yar! Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped for. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We've personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into 1,000,000-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible. Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Love it. Okay. Now, how are you feeling?
My hands won't stop shaking.
Good. Good. Now that we have turned the nerves up to 11, we can turn it all down.
Honestly, hiding behind character voices like that is more comfortable than not. That was something I had to break myself of after like my first couple of months in this stuff. All right.
Okay. Okay. Well, you are not. You're again. This is not a non-character read by any means. This is 100% not a character-free read. That doesn't exist in voiceover. There is no such thing as a zero as a non-character read, unless somebody's hiring you to be you.
Okay. To answer a question from the Discord chat real quick. I haven't had any actual accent training or anything like that, but I'm reasonably good at mimicking stuff that I hear a lot. And I tend to work on it for fun. So it comes fairly easily, but I don't have any like actual training for it, and I don't know that I would like sell myself on accent work just yet. But it is something I do for fun, just sort of mimicking stuff and learning about them. Quick shout out to the International Dialects of English Archive, or IDEA. Such a good resource for this. But I'll talk about that later. All right, so I don't want to like distract too much, you know.
Okay. So,
All right.
take a deep breath. We're turning everything way back down, and now it's you talking to one person, and they're just wrapped up in everything you're saying. It's like, this is amazing. I didn't even know that, I could have something like this from a credit card of all things.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
what your goal is your listeners should be surprised at the incredibly heartwarming and and powerful experiences that people have had because of the work you've done with Capital Express.
Okay. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries. We've found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we have gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses and turned 3-star into 1,000,000-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible. Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Much better in general, but but the ad-libbed laughing is not doing you any favors. At the end, the nah, laughing that off, that works. That's a nice little sprinkle of flavor. But um we've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries. Whenever you laugh out a line, um it sounds like you are unsure or nervous or um
I lost the line halfway
disconnected.
through. That it was trying to cover up the fact that I lost the line halfway through.
Okay.
It was like my brain stopped reading for a second and I was trying to get it back.
Got it.
So it doesn't surprise me that it sounded clumsy.
Okay. So then why don't you go ahead and center your script? Make sure that it's up, fully legible, fully readable, and you can follow it along, and give us one last read of it.
Okay.
And yeah, keep the laugh on nah. I liked that.
Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We've personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible. Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
And I would say that's the read right there. But I'm going to open it up. What did you all think?
Yeah, that was really good.
That was
Finger snaps all around.
I think it was your. Sorry, go ahead.
I think the only nitpick I have, and I noticed this on the first time, was that you're hitting the "we've returned a loved one home" really well. Then that emotion seems to carry over into impossible, and impossible ends up sounding a little bit more sad or downplayed.
Downplayed is a little intentional. I feel like, okay, the reflex is to throw a question mark on there, I think, and a lot of us have done that, but there isn't one written. So I was trying not to make it sound like a question. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not trying to self-direct, I promise. I was intentionally not letting it be a question, and maybe it didn't work.
I think you can add in a little something before then. Like, you think it's impossible.
Oh,
So, like, you
that makes
think
sense.
it's just, of course, just cut off you think it's. So it's like, impossible. You know, like you're reacting to somebody saying, that's impossible. Impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I may be in the minority here. For me it was pretty one note still. Clearly emotive. Generally you get the sort of breathless excitement, sort of a breathless can you believe we did it? It's amazing. You definitely have that in there, like, but it's the whole time for me. And I think that there are just plenty of opportunities to change it up. There's times for levity, there's times for humor, there's times for intensity, there's times for kind of some of these situations are a little far fetched.
So you think it
But
could be more
anyway,
dynamic?
yeah, again, it's for me, it was just very one note, and the one note was well hit. But I think again, if it were an audition and I were listening to it, I might be listening for okay, where can this voice actor take this script? And from you, I heard, okay, I have you in one place and it's pretty solid, but I don't know where else you can go. So
Fair enough.
that was just for me.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay, well, then I'm going to ask the consensus. Should Avalon take it one more time, or is everybody satisfied? Are we good to move on? Because I'm okay with either one.
I think she did great.
No, I think she did really well.
Okay, well, Mike, it seems like you're in the minority.
No, totally fine. Again, one man's opinion, no worries.
A note for later is still valuable, even if it doesn't come into play on the stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate.
If you want to stick around a little bit, we could work on that for just a touch, but that's up to you.
There's nothing wrong with keeping that Home Depot ideology, that motto, never stop improving.
One of my biggest problems that I've dealt with is that I am a very animated and dynamic person, just naturally. So anytime I need to rein it in, I tend to overshoot, or I don't do it enough. Like there's never a just right without a lot of reinforcement. A lot of like doing it over and over. And that's something I'm still for sure working on. But I am content to take that for later and just work on stuff outside of this. I don't want to take up the entire stream by myself, but awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move along. Amanda, you're up.
Okie dokie. I totally forgot to turn my mic on. Day and night, we make things happen. We help celebrate forgotten anniversaries. We found tired travelers abed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We even returned a loved one home. Impossible. Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Okay, opening it up. What did y'all think of that?
I think the pauses between your lines were a little too regimented. It felt like there was a very standard pause length between every line, and it made it feel a little choppy to me.
I countered that. I countered that.
You fell right into his
card.
trap card. Exactly. Yes, yes.
Come on, Roddy, you got to say it.
I'm trying to make sure I like completely
Reverse
envision the
Uno.
scene as I read it, you know?
No, I get you for sure. I don't know. Maybe it just to me it felt like there was like a beat, like a literal like moment in between each one, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But for me personally, it felt choppy, from line to line.
To counter
Like
that,
choppy delivery or like choppy in between each line?
It felt like there was a smash cut between each line. Which is probably intentional. Like as in that's probably how it would be used is a smash cut between visual scenes in the actual commercial. I don't know, maybe my point is meaningless, but
I like that you gave it space between each of the lines. And it was just at the very end where that small hiccup. Other than that, it would have I I I really like that one. Like genuinely.
Thank you, Roddy.
Yeah, I'm agree with Roddy. I think from it sounded like you were in the commercial how probably it would be paced when it was all cut together. For better or worse, that's just how you did it, which I think in a way, if they were to take the audition and lay it over whatever visuals they have, it would probably be like, oh yeah, look, I can edit this really easily. I move this here and it sits really nicely in the visual, in the, in the scenes that we have up front. So I think it works. I don't think it's a terrible thing, but I also understand that it's like a metronome, right? You have the timing in your head and you're like, okay, stop, let it sink in, stop, let it sink in. So, I guess you could alter it by giving a little bit of different timing between each line, but for me, I think leaving space is a good idea because it lets the audience take in the scene. So that's my 2 cents.
I think that was exactly my intent, you know, I'm trying to like envision like how the commercial would be like spliced and diced, and I'm just sort of like talking over it and just setting up the scene so everybody can see what I'm seeing.
Yeah, for sure you could tell. As at least as a listener, I think you could tell. And again, I wouldn't let it. Don't be slavish to that because you're still telling a story. And sometimes, I mean, you'll see commercials that are cut in a way that
maybe seems a little awkward, or like they have giant pauses because it's like the voiceover starts and then the voiceover happens 45 seconds later. So don't be slavish to it, but I obviously could see what you were doing. And in that way, I think it worked fine.
Anybody else?
No, why don't you smooth it out a little bit and give us one more take?
Okie dokie. Here we go. Day and night, we make things happen. We help celebrate forgotten anniversaries. We found tired travelers abed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors that speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses. We turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We even returned a loved one home. Impossible. Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential.
Can you retake that last line but be more proud of American Express?
Okay. American Express. Realize the potential.
There we go. So, opening it up, what did y'all think?
Okay, so I listened to that one a lot more closely. What I'll say is, overall, it's a very nice sound and a very nice read. I think totally serviceable. If we want to, I think, move things to the next level, your pace is pretty steady throughout. Um, so in a way, it kind of drones on until you get to "We even returned a loved one home," which you slowed that line down to let it land, which I thought was really effective. But I think you have this whole range in between to play with. It's not just the things that are running at a pretty quick clip and then the one slow line. I think you can explore different paces and rhythms in each of those lines to add a little bit of variety. And then I'll say I really loved your "nah." I feel like "nah" is the one word in the script where you can have a ton of fun with how it sounds and how um, how it's kind of thrown away, like, "Nah," or just like, "Nah," you can do all sorts of goofy things with it, and so I really liked yours that you took a little risk there, and I would encourage more of that. I think, we have to remember casting directors are listening to hundreds of auditions in a row, and they all say the same words. They all start day and night, day and night, day and night. They're going to hear it over and over and over. And so I think giving them something that's a little more interesting is really attention grabbing. So I would lean into that instinct.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to try and channel the energy that I had with the ones with the big takes, but I found that it was a little bit of a challenge trying to slowly pick up the pace a little bit so it didn't feel like it was going to drag on for too long. So that's kind of where it kind of slipped off. But yeah, yeah, I'll definitely keep that in the front of my mind. Thank you so much.
All right, moving right along. Last but not least is me. Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential. Yeah, opening it up.
Do you read commercials or something? I'm just teasing. As always, Mike, I don't know if any of y'all know this about Mike, but he kind of does like that. Commercials are kind of like his thing, I would say. But it was a solid read. What I would say, because I'm going to be picky with you, Mike,
Please.
is your weakest lines were. I wrote them down. I feel like you can go harder on "We've even returned a loved one home" because you gave it a little love, but I think you could even accentuate it just a little bit more. Turned 3-star into a million-star dining. I feel like that one was really thrown away.
Okay.
Um, and you can really paint the scene on that. Like, what's you're moving from a 3-star Michelin restaurant into what? Dining in some exotic location under a million stars, and really painting the scene with just that short phrase. What I really loved, and I hope other people heard as well, you put a little humor into Forgotten Anniversaries, which I thought was great. Um, Personally, you gave a little love to the words that needed it. You know, we personally delivered replacement cards. Was you gave personally a little extra love. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses. I think it's the first time tonight that I've heard someone give that line with a little bit of levity that leads into relief. Being like, yeah, it's really nerve wracking that the lost like the wedding dress is lost, but then don't worry, we got you, dude. We tracked it down. So overall a really nice read, but yeah, those couple of lines I kind of want to see you go bolder with them.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? All right. Oh,
I thought
Hold on. The tagline at the end that realized the potential seemed a little too thrown away.
okay.
That was the only addition that I had to the other Mike's comments.
another thought, not exactly for your performance, but I'm not sure if I've gone over this before. How acceptable is it to ad lib on commercial scripts?
Man, Roddy, if only you were here a little bit earlier because we discussed specifically that. Um, what we talked about was that it always depends on whoever's project this is. So you
Mhm.
should always talk to, if you get hired on, you should always talk to your client about that. Um, it's usually a good idea to start by giving them specifically what it is that they're asking for, and then ask them, "Hey, if you're happy with what you got, can I give you something with a little bit more ad libbing, just so that it sounds so it's more me or it's more down to earth or whatever. Give them some excuse essentially."
Mm. Okay.
And I'll add to that that for the audition, I feel like you can get away with a little bit. You
Yeah.
don't want to
Mhm.
be crazy
Yeah.
because somebody wrote these words. The person evaluating your audition might be the writer. You have no idea.
Mhm.
So you don't want to insult somebody by going overboard, but adding a little of yourself, a little extra, like a yeah or a hey or like a whatever, I think it actually can help the audition stand out. It can break up the monotony of listening to hundreds in a row. In session, a lot of the times you can't change a fucking word because it's gone through legal and it's gone through approvals and you have 30 seconds and it's overwritten. So you just do what they say and move on with your life. But I agree with Mike, right? You can give them a little extra if they let you. But otherwise, it's pretty much on script.
Yeah, I was thinking more like 1 or 2 words in a
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
sentence.
That's usually fine. And again, in an audition, that's okay. I've even heard people just say do whatever you want to in an audition. There is some merit to that because auditions you want to stand out. You don't want to just be another voice that they're like, oh, okay, uh, day and night, it's that again. Okay, skip day and night, skip. Standing out a little bit will standing out a little bit will help. But yeah, so um, I will worry about. All right, I'll pay more attention to those two lines that you mentioned, Mike, and James. I will see what I can do about that. The last line. Hey, day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond, 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realize the potential. And now it's on you.
For me, the two lines sounded the same, but it's been a little far removed since we heard your first take. So if we could go straight back into those two and hear them, I would love it. Just
Okay.
those two for me personally.
We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Still?
Yeah, I'd love other people to weigh in. For me, they're still pretty much the same. I'd love to know, what are you thinking of? What's the scene you have in mind for those two lines specifically?
So 3-star to a million-star dining. I imagine somebody in like this really stuffy restaurant, kind of being served like those tiny little itty bitty bit portions of food, and like looking really disappointed. And then a million-star dining is like they're outside and they're grilling. They've got like a bonfire opened up, and they're underneath the stars, and it's just fire lit, and they're grilling some meat over it or something.
I like it. I actually really like it. I especially like that the 3-star is kind of stuffy, but I didn't hear it. I actually didn't hear, and maybe it's just me. I'd love other people to weigh in. But for me, then you kind of 3-star delivered with a little bit of, like from 3-star, But even though it's kind of counterintuitive because most people associate 3-star with like fine dining, but your opinion of it is it's kind of stuffy, not my style, and the can't, the moonlit dining is really what you love. So I love it, but I just didn't hear it. And then the
Okay.
the other scene for you?
We've even returned a loved one home.
Yeah.
You want to know what I was thinking on that one, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was imagining back in high school when my brother came back from the military.
Nice. Okay. Uh so definitely I think it's hitting. It's just for me still understated. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with being understated. I mean, it's a commercial, so less is
Well,
more sometimes.
let me see if I can give it a little something, because if that's something that's really being pointed out, and I don't know if anybody else has any other
Yeah, I'd
ideas.
love other people to weigh in because maybe it's just my ears, and it's 9:12 at night, so they could be a little off.
I agree on the returning a loved one home. Um, I really like the 3-star into a million-star line. So I don't know.
Okay. I've got an idea for something I can do with it. But
Let's get greedy.
Maybe this might also seem counterintuitive with the scene you have in mind, but maybe don't smile on the return a loved one home line. Let it be a bit more somber in your body language. Um
Okay.
I don't know if it'll help with understated, if understated is the issue, but but letting it sound less playful isn't the word I want, but it's the word I have apparently. Um like the direction, one of the directions that was given earlier to other people as well was to let return a loved one home be more serious than the other things in than the other scenes in the story. Um so maybe drop the smile for that line. And that
When he
might
said
help.
when he said somber, I was like, you even returned a loved one home to their final resting place.
We even
Well,
returned a
let's
loved one home, and it's like
let's
zooming in on a
see.
headstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's let him do it. Let's
Let's
let him give it a go.
I'm just gonna go from the top. I'm gonna put it all into context. Hey, day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travelers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above and beyond 24/7. We personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. realize the potential.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw the head bob. I really liked the love line. It really, for me, I could feel it. That one I could definitely feel. And the
There
three
was a
star, you gave it such a subtle thing on 3 star that it was like a little from 3 star, but it was a little subtle. But I like that too. So, bravo. I like it all. Well put together for the final read, sir.
I'd echo
Yeah, you
that
did
as
really
well.
well. Finger
The
snaps all around.
the contrast between the star dining line and bring a loved one home was really well done. And then back to the slightly playful air with impossible. Really, really good.
That was fantastic.
All right, cool. Well, it all came together. Much like you saw on our reading order here, I was the last one that shows for our broadcast portion, but that doesn't mean that we're done with the meetup whatsoever. So if you guys want to read with us, just go ahead and stick around. We're going to wrap things up over on Twitch, but we're still going to hang out over here. So, anyway, thank you all so much for joining us. You know where all the links are, they're all down below, and it's way better that you join us, anyways. So we hope to see you on next time. We are going to be on this Saturday, and we'll see you there, whether it be on Twitch or in Discord. It's up to you. We'd love to have you here, but we'll see you on Saturday.